Good morning, y'all. It is Bo with the Chew Crew. I'm back over at the blueberry patch today. This is my quote-unquote last paddock, which it's actually going to be my next to last paddock. I decided to break this up into two, and I'll show you why in a second. But they came from over here, and now they're over here. So half of this paddock was grazed as part of paddock 2. But the reason why I decided to come back, because when I originally grazed this, I had sheep and a calf in here. And there's some vines up in these blueberries that I would like for the goats to climb up in there and get. So you can see this area down there and that between those two rows, there's not a lot of vegetation. But this back half, I'm dodging trees over here in the tree line. This back half is super thick. You can't see between the rows. That's pretty bad. And the property owners can't get in here and do anything with the blueberries. It's just too thick. So we're gonna get this cleaned up for them, and we'll cut up this pine tree that's down. We'll come in here and trim up these bushes so there's actually defined rows. For those that haven't seen any of my videos before, pardon the lighting. Let me go down here to this side so I'm not videoing into the sun. There's still some tree debris down. I mean, this is all stuff I pruned that I gotta pile up. But all of this looked like that over there. But I ran the animals through. And by the way, so this section to the right here is gonna be part of the final paddock. It's just a very small section of a couple of rows. And then I'll come back and I'll probably catch, once the really dense part of the paddock they're in now, once they thin it out some, I'll probably move it and do from here down to the other side of that to finish them up. So they'll probably be in there. Today's Thursday. I'll probably leave them in there until maybe Saturday morning. 2 days. Maybe tomorrow afternoon. We'll just have to see. But yeah, I'll take y'all for a tour of this whole blueberry patch. I'd say it's roughly about 3 acres. And again, keep in mind, when we started this was completely grown up. I'm gonna actually work with these property owners over the winter to replant some of these rows. They've got 40 total acres, and I would say maybe 10 of it is pasture. There is a lot of pasture back over that way. And the remainder of it is woods. And we're actually gonna do some controlled burns in here. The problem is, right now, it's so thick that it would take a lot of equipment to come in here with row plows, forestry mulchers, forestry cutters to cut fire breaks. And the neighbors on both sides, you know, their property looks like this too, so there's no defined property line. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run pigs in here over the winter. And I'm basically gonna let the pigs cut the fire breaks. And then I spoke with the property owner this morning about doing some bartering. Kind of like a barter lease. So I'll keep some animals over here, move them, rotate them, help them do these controlled burns, take that property management part off their plate. In return, basically have 40 acres that I can put my animals on. In between jobs, I'll be able to run cattle over here. But most importantly, we're gonna walk down through here and I will show you what I'm talking about. Pardon the mouth breathing. Walking and videoing with a phone is not the easiest thing in the world to do. But if you'll see down in there, it's a bunch of dead pine trees. These forests are completely well, they've never been managed. I can't really call them mismanaged because they've never been managed. We're gonna fix that. Y'all, this is what I'm looking for. Stockpile grazing this winter. This is the Bermuda, which, if you're not in the South, you're probably not super familiar with Bermuda. But it doesn't get super tall, but it gets super thick. But look at that. I always ask people when they talk about stockpile grazing and they question, it's like, who fed the buffalo in the wintertime? Who brought the buffalo hay? Nobody. This is what they ate. The tall, ungrazed, warm season grasses in the prairies and the savannas. This is more of the woods where we're gonna run pigs, but look at this, y'all. Look at all that. Look at all that forage. Now, the thing about stockpile grazing is, you see where he's bush hogged. The thing about stockpile grazing is it's lower in protein, It's not quite as nutrient dense. So you do have to provide supplemental mineral and protein to meet nutritional needs, but it keeps the animals belly full, keeps them fat and happy. And it's more than just, I'm gonna stop walking, I'm gonna head back towards the truck. It's more than just about feeding the animals. It's also about the land management, y'all. You know, the soil disturbance that the ruminants will do, the manure they're gonna drop, the stomping that they're gonna do. All of that stuff builds soil. And you get your soil built up, it's going to increase the biodiversity in the forage. You're going to have more nutrient dense forage, which means healthier animals, which means healthier us. So this right here is Bradford pear. These are awful little trees. People planted them like crazy in the 90s around here because they bloom prolifically with white flowers. They said they were sterile, but they were not. Now they're taking over. The good news is, though, in the spring, I'll come in here and drop those, and that'll be forage for the livestock. All right, I'm gonna head back to the truck. Y'all have a good day.